Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center here in Santa Barbara, where today's weather is just about perfect. And when I say that, I mean it's just about perfect up here on our elevated platform of living, where we have a limitless view of the universe. And David magnified that vision by adding planets and stars that rotate around us. I am thrilled to be up here with all of you. On Friday, Southern California Electric kept their promise to give us a full day of a power outage, resulting in David having to broadcast from his home in Solvang, about an hour north of us here in Santa Barbara. Luckily, Robert's iPhone has a battery and his iPad is connected to a phone and not reliant on the internet or on Wi-Fi. We watched the broadcast on a 5x7 screen, and it was a potent transmission with a quiet power that I still feel at this moment. David spoke of Genya and my broadcast as paving the way for his broadcast. We three are lighting the way for each other. And with a level of what is being brought in, all of humanity. Yeah. At least 2 times this past week, Spirit took over. Once was when Spirit woke me up at 5:55 a.m. so that I may see my office flooded in crimson. I ran outside and saw the breathtaking crimson sky, and I took only one photo with my iPhone, and that was the shot I posted on my timeline on Facebook. And so many have responded. Last time I looked, it had reached 40 responses. So, beauty speaks volumes. And the sky is always talking to us. The next time was when I was just about to fall asleep one night when I heard the title of today's broadcast. Perfect life, perfect health, and a magic future. And you have all the tools. Now, this has been Robert's closing wish for all, pardon me, there's that fly, for all after every broadcast for many years. You hear this wish from us 3 times a week. And every time in the future, when it will be heard somewhere in the world, this wish will reverberate in the remembrance pattern of the listener. Perfection lives in the realm of the impossible, according to the system we have been living in and under, even though our deepest knowing is quite the opposite. There was a time when perfection was the normal state of our very being. That is how we entered, having just arrived from our origin. The future awaited us with only magic, and everything else was a form of perfection. What happened? Last week, I reminded everyone that impossible really and truly means I'm possible. This week, I must remind you that imperfection really means I'm perfection. Now that that's cleared up, we can proceed. Did I mention that it was Robert who suggested last week's title for my broadcast? which was select your essence and live with that. He then added, and that will give you a lot to consider. And it certainly did. It provided me with the key to wake up an overall theme of my life that I had selected and was living before I met Robert. Discovering my essence. What makes me tick? And the answer is, was, and always has been, connecting essence to essence for all humanity via remembering that we all came from our origin. We come in with this essence, and it finds expression in everything we do. During those 7 years that I held positions in the 2 psychiatric centers in New York City, I connected with the residents immediately and wondered constantly how in the world I found myself literally behind bars, with the only difference between me and the residents was that I held a big key ring. Now, in hindsight, I was handed an arena within which to set loose talents that I never knew I had, along with unlimited opportunity to make improvements in the daily lives of the residents in my division and an integral part of the system. What I'm most proud of is that I managed to change the charting procedure of the psychiatric center. As a rehabilitation counselor, I was taken aback when I discovered that all treatment plans are based on the patient's liabilities and weaknesses. I hung a huge poster on my office door that said, "Water the flowers, not the weeds." I spoke at a colloquium of hospital staff and made my plea to change the record to be based on the assets, strengths, and abilities that I can work with to improve the state of being of that person. The charts were reprinted. I was thrilled. I walked into that hospital where the geriatric division was little more than a custodial care with no activities worth mentioning. 3.5 years later, everyone was up, dressed, had breakfast, and was in an activity by 9 o'clock. It almost killed me, but it happened. I also had 3 teenagers at home. But I was devoted, and it meant a lot. Each activity was developed and prepared for by training the attendants, who used to just sit around, to run every activity. And the most powerful activity was sensory awareness, which affected everyone and woke up so many. Yeah. I went for training with Ivan Sidrell, who was an amazing mentor and friend. A drop-in center was created with furniture, rugs, and lamps that I scavenged along the way. It was here in a normal setting that conversations could happen by sharing remembrances. These hold secrets of talents, strengths, and powers that have been asleep. Too often, the outside world was too much to cope with, and the safety, 3 squares, and a safe place to sleep was chosen. Some gentle ones remain in my memory as very special, these past 44 years. It was discovered that Peter was a fine artist, and I commissioned him to create a mural for our drop-in center. He told me that I was an angel, and what was I doing in this place? Sam loved fine music and would wait for intermission at Carnegie Hall and go in to find the seats of those who had left. He would replay this wonderful experience for his enjoyment every day. Perhaps some of you remember my story of Isaac, a friend of Khalil Gibran, who I managed to get discharged. He became a chef on a kibbutz in Israel. Yeah. So everyone I ever met in that system was once an irresistible baby arriving with gifts to share. What happened? Childhood was up for grabs, according to what family you found yourself in. Parents who love, protect you, and cherish you while supporting any and all talents you might reveal is perfection. Parents who suffer economically, psychologically, or medically visit these upon their offspring. Psychology, I have often said, takes the spine out of so many, providing excuses for every behavior. But we are divine beings and don't relate to any theories or analysis that have been developed for a social income. Yeah. And just recently, Vidi posted, your children are not extensions of you. They are higher evolutionary expressions of your greatest potential. Thank you, Vidi. Now, it wasn't all roses. I ran headlong into resistance from just about everyone. Did you ever see the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Do you remember Nurse Cratchit? Well, Kathy, my head nurse, accused me of loving these people, the bottom of the barrel. And why don't they act crazy when I am on the ward? Well, I survived. Just this brief description of my experience while being the single mother of 3 teenagers and attending night classes for my master's degree has shown me the tools that were never called upon before. We all have hidden resources that are not easily available in today's world of consumerism, debt slavery, and programs of separation, competition. And that is why I tell my coming out story and of discovering gifts of each and every one I meet. One by one, we're gathering our family, and sometimes in remarkable places. David's words ring out so clearly. I am more connected to that aspect of me that resides beyond the physical than the one that exists inside the physical. Therefore, I can talk to my body. With this in beautiful balance is perfect health. And every moment that we spend together is creating our magic future. And on August 10th, 2018, Robert said that we can apply every day is no rules, no methods, everything works every time. Nothing is wrong because there is a miracle for everything and a multitude of marvelous outcomes that can never be repeated and continues forever. Yeah. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to truly share my story with you. Once spoken, it can now be released, perhaps to be picked up and valued. And now, here's one more anecdote. I met a wonderful man named John at a life improvement course where a group of us volunteered ourselves in building homes in Mexico. From the foundation, which means spreading the cement, up to the roof. Meeting John was a meeting of like essences. John's livelihood did not even come close to matching what I felt. And I shared my joy of working with people. He heard me and became a counselor. Now, that was about 13 years ago. He now has a wonderful following and posted this on Facebook. When I saw the title, I said, I think he got that from David. But at any rate, here's the title. I am patience. All things come in divine time. I joyously relish the unfolding of my life. The journey I find delicious, expanding, assimilating, letting in more, relaxing into it all. I breathe. I ask for what I desire only once, as the presence knows the yearnings of my heart. I let go and enjoy my life. I allow it in. Divine grace brings to me in perfect time all that I could ever need, want, or desire. Oftentimes, even more than I could have ever thought possible. All I must do is let go and let the divine do it for me. It is that simple. And so it is. I am patience. John Petruccio. That was a wonderful thing to share. And we've been good friends ever since. So you see, the full title has been delivered. Perfect life, perfect health, and a magic future. Showing you all your tools. Now my heart is so happy to have the opportunity of sharing David's writing. And there's no clock, so I have no idea what time it is, but it doesn't really matter. As with all of David's writings, one hearing is never enough. No turning back. We are amazingly complex beings, like a multifaceted diamond, randomly shining the light from a different aspect of ourselves all the time. We are able to be here and be everywhere at the same time. We are made of everything that has ever been created, and we can feel that everything in any given moment. We are simply incredible beings that are able to hold it all. We are like the greatest computer ever created, with millions of lifetimes of experiences housed in a form. With millions of inputs and outputs, we are able to make calculations in record time, not just math calculations, but multidimensional calculations over multiple timelines. To compartmentalize all the memories of all the lifetimes throughout all the timelines, while at the same time living in a physical form, is beyond incredible. These memories are beginning to flood in as each body that we have walked into has a lifetime of memories that help remind us of our gloriously expanded self, infinite and full of grandeur. There have been none like you. A miraculous feat of engineering and creativity. Your body is a living technology, a consciousness unto itself, as it merges with the consciousness of your magnificent, eternal being. This body that we have known as the hardware of the computer is now able to live forever as it steps into the new world within a new dimension. Something is happening to our awareness. The Creator in each of us is being revealed, and all the power that comes from this awareness is right at our fingertips. I want you to know that this is where we are going, because this is what I am experiencing. It is a feeling that I don't have the words to express. But as I write these words, I realize that I have transcended all things. I am more connected to that aspect of me that resides beyond the physical than the one that exists inside the physical. Therefore, I can talk to my body and everything else that I see as a being with its own consciousness, who is grateful to be recognized and loved. And that also talks to me. I am void of need, and my transmission is coming directly from the void, where all things are created and brought forward at the perfect time. This realization is coming to each of you, and as it does, your hands will open and release everything you might still be holding on to about your perceived limitations. And as this happens, you will begin to feel that there is nothing in this world that you cannot make happen, and you will no longer be in need of anything, for you will be everything. Please feel the origin of this message, for it is coming from my origin to show you where we are going. You are a walking universe with plants, planets, and stars rotating around you. Powerful beyond measure, a majestic being that has never been seen before. Now, take my hand and come with me to the edge of this third dimensional reality, and let us take a leap together into the nothingness and the everythingness from which we have come. And as in the days of old, once again, we will become fishers of men. Give your gifts freely, without fear or doubt, for you have an army of angels, galactic beings, and masters standing right behind you. And from here, we shall change the world, and there will be no turning back. Thank you, David. Thank you for being here and sharing these moments with me and everyone here at the Advancement Center. And we wish you perfect life, perfect health, and a magic future. Thank you.